Hello and welcome back to the Talking Wolves podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cooper, and today we are joined by Mr. Dave Azzopardi. Dave, how's it going, mate? And another win on the road as well. We loved it, didn't we?
It was a great day, mate. Great, and you know what? I was dreading it. Trip down to Southampton, but like you know, the journey was nice and obviously brilliant to top it off with 3 points. But yeah, looking forward to it again, lads.
Yeah, we Dave managed to piss the driver off by eating a McDonald's in the back of his car.
I was never told, you know.
Yeah, he's absolutely stunk the car out. The driver was not happy. We had to drive the rest of the journey with the windows down. Wasn't happy. The driver was my brother.
Made it out like we had our own chauffeur then.
No. We haven't made it big time yet, but we had a good laugh. Like, I was just saying though, Dave, like I was dreading the journey because it's one of the longest away days, isn't it, in terms of distance. And you know, after half an hour, I thought this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. But thankfully, they turned it around. But it was it seemed it seems a bit of a piece of piss, doesn't it? When you win, when you're on the way back, it's before you know it, you're back.
Yeah. Where was it that we had the little detour to? Was it Newbury?
Yeah. So
it was. Mate, it was mentioned on the radio today, and I was crying with laughter.
So I had
what a coincidence.
I had a bit of a stinker. So we made really good. Got a lot of, probably, yeah, we made a good time on the journey. And my brother who was driving, he was like, "Oh, stop for a coffee or something." I was like, "Yeah," because like Dave's not had any food, and like we'll stop. And I looked on the map because all A roads, so the services are pretty naff. And I saw just off the A road, it was like McDonald's, Burger King, Aldi, and I thought, oh, it's like a retail park. So I was like, yeah, I'd like pull off here, get off here. We started driving, and I was like, if there's a retail park here, it's very like discreet. And we ended up in like the middle of some town centre. It was all pedestrian.
Yeah.
We couldn't park anywhere. There's traffic jams everywhere. And I was like, oh my God. Like the McDonald's like came around the corner. And it was like, if anyone's ever been to like Walsall High Street, it was pretty much like that, like all pedestrianised. And I was like, for fuck's sake, I'm so sorry. Because on the maps, everything was all clumped together. And I thought, it's obviously a retail park just off the motorway. Here's me thinking like Junction 9, M6. Yeah. But no, it was a little old sleepy Newbury, which actually looked quite nice, didn't it, Dave?
It's a nice area. Yeah.
If anyone's ever been to Newbury or from Newbury, let us know. Let us know what we missed. That's a little bit of insight into our journey on Saturday. But we're also joined by Finn. Finn, how are you, mate?
I'm all right, thank you, mate. My journey was lovely as well. The Winchester they stop at on the coaches, gorgeous. Yeah. But yeah, all good, thank you.
Was it nice, Winchester?
Yeah, it's like we've stopped there every time, and it's quite funny because on a Saturday they have like a proper. It's like basically everyone's got a posh dog. They're wearing tweed, and there's like an ivy just like on the high street. It's mad. It's dead posh, and they've got like this village market on selling like fresh meats and all this, and it's proper like if it was in a film, it'd have like like do 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 like proper like nice music on, and then these coaches of Wolves fans just descend. It's like they all look. Oh, it's brilliant. But no, yeah, lovely Wetherspoons at the top. This bright blue Wetherspoons. You have to go right through the market. And it was lovely. And as you say, yeah, it was worth the journey. What a day.
Dave, where did we stop with Tatters? And it was like a little village. And we...
Banbury, no?
Was it Bam? Where was that on the way to? Can you remember?
They stopped in Banbury quite often. I think it was Leicester. Well, I don't know if that was Banbury.
It can't be Leicester. Sure. No, it weren't Leicester. Because we stopped... No, it was really early as well. I can't remember. Might have been Arsenal. Arsenal.
Yeah.
Don't know where that was. But less travel, more Wolves chat. George not here again this week. He's let the side down. What was his excuse this week? Super Bowl party or something?
I think it was. Yeah, he'll be back next week. Yeah,
that was last night though.
He might be tired, so bless him.
Might be still going some party though. Yeah, but no George again this week. Well, I've said to him, if we beat Bournemouth, he's not coming back on again because he's a bad omen. That's the second week in a row he's not been on and we've won. So, who knows?
It's free now. No, this will be the third one.
Nah, this will be the second one, I think.
Oh, was Abba the week before?
Was that? Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Abba, and before? Then he had the work trip, and then this week.
I don't know who's approved his annual leave, Dave, because it weren't me. No, we do miss him. Looking forward to having him back on, though. Hopefully, we'll be back on next week, if you can be asked. Lads, let's have a look back at the weekend then, Dave. We'll start with you, mate. Southampton versus Wolves. Struggling Southampton. Nathan Jones with some of the weirdest comments in the week. Firstly, what did you make of those comments? They would have been the fittest man on the planet. A nice Welsh girl.
Mate, he was daft. I tweeted. I think he's got voices in his head, mate. He's just talking in riddles.
Yeah.
But I thought with those comments, the match on Saturday was going to go one of two ways. He was either going to look like the greatest and most, intelligent man on the planet for making those comments, or we were just going to pile on the misery. And like you said earlier, I think after the first half an hour, I thought, oh my God, we're actually getting shafted here. But now, thankfully we turned it around. And I said, I'm surprised it took Southampton so long to sack him in the end. I was adamant. I think I said it on last week's pod. 5:30, if we beat them, he'll be gone. In the end, I think it was Sunday at about 9, 10 a.m. So I think Jesse Marsh is the favourite there to take over. So
with those two schools of thought, so Dave, I went from like, oh, we're going to smash them easy there in like a shambles. The more I got close to kickoff, I was like, oh, but he was saying, I'm going to do it my way from now on, no messing around, whatever. And all those comments, I thought, oh, are they going to have this like almost new manager bounce? But it's not a new manager almost. And I was convinced myself it was that, but thankfully. Well, to be fair, it was a mix of the both, wasn't it, with the two halves?
I think those comments were to take the pressure off the team and put it on him, to be honest. Because I don't think I felt a bit sorry for him. The comments, he obviously, I think that's probably what it was, though. But he wouldn't. I mean, we were listening to Talksport on the way, and weren't we, Dave? And like, you got like Saleta Sarr there and Bella Kochap, who are good defenders, and I don't think were they even in the squad.
I'm not sure, but they haven't got. They haven't really. Well, that's what the week before they were played in that under-21s game. The day before they played. So they have signed some good players. They've got some good players, but just criminally underused or not used correctly. I think a lot of that team was not used correctly. So to be fair to them, first half, I thought they played some half decent football. They gave us some scares. First, I think you said it on the reaction, Matt, it was a typical sort of away performance, really. But the first 20 minutes, half an hour before the red card, we struggled to get a foothold on the game, to be honest, and they knocked it around quite nicely. It didn't really help with the referee with the stop starting of the game, but and then Charlie Alcaraz took his chance quite well. But they seem to be all right and on top, to be fair, for the most part of the first half. They knocked it around quite well.
Let's start with the lineup, mate. And I know when we spoke previously, I said to you, I think he'll play Nunez in a wider role. I think he'll go. I wasn't expecting the 4-3-3, but I was expecting Nunez to feature out wide again. It looked like a 4-3-3 there with Lamina, Matinho, and Neves in the middle, and then obviously Sarabia, Nunez, and Cunha up top. What were your thoughts about that? And before Lamina got sent off, do you think it was working?
No, I don't think so. But at the same time, I don't think it was, like, for argument's sake, I think if you started someone like Raul or Diego Costa up front, it might have been a different first half, because Cunha is obviously a talented footballer, but when we were sitting so deep and we were so stretched, the ball just wasn't sticking in the forward areas. I think it worked well against Liverpool, but it didn't work for me. You basically got 4 central midfielders on the pitch. And I think if you want to play a 4-3-3, you've got to play a proper wide man out there. Maybe, Prudence wasn't in the squad. Hwang's injured. Maybe he didn't see Adama as being a player that he wanted to start from the off. And obviously Neto not quite fit yet. But it didn't quite work out for me, if I'm completely honest. I was surprised. I couldn't quite work out the exact way we were going to play, whether it was going to be almost like a 4-4-2 diamond or a 4-2-2 Brazilian box style play. I don't know, but whatever it was first off, just didn't. I'm not saying it was dreadful, but it didn't quite work.
No, Finn, what did you think at the start of the game? I mean, listening to the post-match stuff, Nathan Joe, it sounded like their first half was one of the best performances that they've had. Full of energy, full of pressing really well, aggressive. But we just didn't look at the races, really, did we?
No, not at all. It felt almost like you were almost giving him a chance, and it was starting to get quite annoying because you knew this isn't like optimal Wolves almost. It was strange trying to figure out where everyone was playing. And I know Dave said it was like it works against Liverpool, but it did feel very different to what we're doing with Liverpool as well. Like Nunez on the left, I mean, maybe it worked in that one game and I sort of overhyped and said maybe this is a thing going forward, but he didn't look comfortable. It's probably one of his worst games, even when he came into the middle, to be fair. One of his worst games for Wolves. And yeah, it felt like we were trying to keep the ball, but then also lump it up to a bloke that clearly isn't designed for lumping the ball up to. And then on the opposite side, you had Southampton doing the same thing for a bloke that clearly was designed to do that. And even though he wasn't winning the headers, we were almost scared. Like there was a few even when Neves didn't even bother going up, and then the ball would bounce, and then they're in. And then, as we said, the two new signings that would likely feature, Sulemana as well. Silver Stars does not lie on FIFA. He looked quite good. So yeah, so they had that sort of metaphorical kick up the bottom, and we were very, very poor in that first half, and it didn't work. And then he changed it at half time, and we looked much better, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, Dave, I think the referee set the tone from early on. You know, giving credit, he was consistently shit. But like he was consistent in the first half in terms of handing out bookings for nothing. I went down for a pie on 35 minutes. So I've come up and I've been carded. I could not believe it, mate. I could not believe the fouls he was booking people for.
Yeah, it was strange. And we've had Jared Gillett a couple of times this season, and I don't know if it's that video he did before he left the A League, but I was quite excited to see him in the league, and I thought, you know what, he's going to actually be a half decent referee, but he completely lost the plot. I think on Saturday, the first Lamina booking, I think, is extremely harsh, so early in the game as well. And again, the Semedo one. Have you seen that one back? I don't even think he wins the ball. Never a booking for me either. But are we coming on to the red card now? Can I talk about the red card as well?
Let's talk about it, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, I was downstairs when it happened, and when I heard Lamina has been sent off, I thought, this is. We knew Lamina could do this. I thought they'd just absolutely smash someone up, but then no one seemed to know what he'd been sent off for.
Well, obviously, with him being an ex-Southampton player, we were winding the Southampton fans up about him as well. He left because you're shit and all that, and then that happens. But I'm still trying to rack my head around how and why Jared Gillett had sent him off. And obviously there's so many theories as to why it had happened. All of a sudden, this new law has come into place that no one has ever heard or seen before, where if two or more players crowd a referee, they get booked. How often do you see a caution for that? So rare. My only thinking is that he has got that yellow card out before he's realised it was Lamina. Because I think if he realises that he's a player on a booking, he just gives him a last warning and he does not send him off. Because if you watch the replays, he's almost got the card out before he even looks around to see who it is. And I think Lamina could have so easily picked up, we could have had a foul in his favour just before the ball went out of play. So I said it at the time, I felt he'd ruined the game at that point. Obviously, it wasn't so much the case because we hadn't got the 3 points, but I felt that he was extremely harsh and he's poor refereeing.
Yeah, when has running aggressively towards a referee been a bookable offence? Like, how do you run aggressively?
I don't even think he ran aggressively towards him either. But
he didn't.
No, but then the people posted these rules from the FA or whatever. Okay, fair enough.
So many wannabe dickhead.
But then you see,
PC,
to be fair,
referees on Twitter.
Rodri got sent booked yesterday. Not Rodri, yeah. Ruben Dias got booked for it. But then I've seen in the Liverpool game, Andy Robertson going up, ranting and raving at the referee. Absolutely nothing said or done.
Yeah, but Dave, they did that one. It was like, right, because Jared Gillett was on VAR for Man City as well, wasn't he? So it was clearly right. The first time you spot it, get one in so it looks like we know what we're doing. But then there's a point later on in the game, I think someone had a photo of 6 of them around the ref and he didn't dish out 4 extra cards. So, yeah. They were making... And the fact that we had one explanation of running aggressively, then it was because he was the third man. They're making it up as they go along. It was pathetic.
If that's a rule, then that's fine.
Yeah, but it's weird that Wolves... Oh, suddenly we've figured out the cameras aren't in the right place at Anfield. That's Wolves. Suddenly this third man rule, that's Wolves. Why are we the ones discovering all these new magical rules in football?
Yeah, because if you bring a new rule in, then which you can do halfway through a season, because we've seen it with like VAR and stuff, then it must be communicated. And I can't imagine that IFAB or the PGMOL or whatever it's called have sat down with whoever it is at the clubs and said, look, from now on, if your players are crowding the referee, the third one to come over gets a yellow card. Because it must be annoying as a ref, but those aren't the rules. But it's all these muppet referees on Twitter who want to give the hot take because it's time for them
well
to
done,
get.
Jared. Shut up.
Yeah. Clause 142 of the bloody Pierre Luigi Collina little black book of refereeing. Like, no one's asked.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's on the rule. It says 2 or more as well, and there was already 2 around him. So why not book? Like, I think even Never said it on his interview on Match of the Day. Why not book him or João Moutinho?
Yeah,
because they were already there in front of him. So, like I said, that's why I think he's already got the card.
Him as aggressive and not the other two.
Yeah.
Jared.
Yeah. Well, I still don't understand why he's booked. Perhaps Jared Gillett just wanted his name in the paper. I don't know. But like you said, Dave, it ruined the game. But there was, I mean, was Ward-Prowse booked for that?
Yeah, the Ward-Prowse one was like the most blatant booking I'll ever see. But bless him, Steve Maley got some in the neck about that, didn't he? He says, that's another dubious booking. And he's just got pelters. Because it was probably, out of all the bookings from Saturday, that was the most stonewall card and the correct, the best decision that Jared Gillett made all game, to be fair. So, yeah. But, I mean, you lot have seen, in terms of refereeing all weekend, the Premier League was an absolute shocker. So I think something needs to be done.
It's a stinker. I mean,
the FA in general, just like from bottom to the top, it's just a disgrace at the minute. And I'm talking like grassroots level, which I'm sure you lot have already heard me talk about. It's bad enough there. And so when you see how bad it is at the Premier League, the top, the creme de la creme of referees, imagine how bad it is down the bottom at the minute.
I do think it's a thankless task though, and like you could have the best game in the world, and you're still gonna, people are gonna think things are dubious because it's subjective, isn't it? But I don't know when you've got errors such as not drawing a line on the right player, like that's that's just unforgivable. It's just absolutely unforgivable, and I'm not sure whether referees should have to come out after games because if they have a good game, no one's going to be asked. They're going to say, like, well, you got that one right, didn't you? Be like, yeah, well, like, that was a rational. But I don't know. Would it help? I don't know. I think that doesn't help as well because I think fans, players, managers see them as almost like protected species and they can't, they're immune from criticism or proper criticism. Obviously, we're here slating them, but it's just, I feel like it's every single podcast we do, there's a problem. And we always say we don't want to make it about referees, but thankfully in the end it didn't. But the goal itself was, Dave, a little bit poor to concede. I know it's a bit of almost like a wild swipe from Charlie Alcaraz. It fell to him. Wolves couldn't clear the lines, but when that went in, I was just like, oh God, like is it what they say after the Lord Mayor's show? I
don't know. What is that? What they say? I've not heard that before.
the old adage goes basically means like, well, after the Liverpool game, of course, we were going to play shit.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know. Yeah. I still don't know what you mean. Yeah, I think again, Lamina probably should have done a little bit better in his header, but I think there was a couple of Southampton players around him, and then I think he was half cleared by Dawson. He probably should do a little bit better, but that's maybe me being harsh. But Alcaraz hit it quite sweetly. It was quite a satisfying goal. As if you're looking at it from a neutral, it's quite a satisfying goal to look at. Yeah, hosting it did look a nice finish, to be fair, but it was frustrating, and it was down by the away fans as well. And I thought, never done St Mary's before, sod's law. They scored before the red card though, didn't they? I thought this could be a long afternoon because it just hadn't got going at that point.
St Mary's had a very EFL feel about it. And I know that's not because they're one of the favourites to go down, but the club just felt very like Norwich.
Do you not think, Finn, as well? You've done the King Power. I thought it was like their stadium was like this exact same as the King
Soldiers
Power.
Bowl, as they call them.
It was just like obviously red round the court, red where it needed to be red, but the rest of it, I just looked at it and I thought it's like I'm in the King Power. It's well weird.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I hadn't thought about it like that. It's like Benfica and Arsenal, isn't it? It's like they're literally just the carbon copy of the stadium. At least they haven't got clappers, Southampton, to be fair to them.
But the area as a whole, I don't know if you did much exploring, Finn, but flip it. Me and Matt and his brother.
It's weird, isn't it? Especially when I don't know whether you were close to whether you were near their fans, but they were giving it, you live in a hole. And then, but you look around because you expect South equals nice. And to be fair, there was one year where me and my sister went on a bit of a wander and came out of this like gorgeous like marina as well. But in between that, it's weird, isn't it? I just assumed it'd be really nice, but strange place.
I had one of those little gas canister things that you were always on about as well, Finn.
Oh yeah, they're like the
Well
shell
done.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gas risers.
Yeah, they messed with my mind as a child, and until you explained it about 6 months ago. To be fair.
Yeah, well, when they approached out of the distance, I said, "Here, this is what Finn was on about, like this podcast like 2 years ago about these big gas structures that he just couldn't comprehend that they held gas, and they used to rise up." What did you think they were?
I can't remember. I think I was on a school trip once. You know, the ones as you go into Birmingham from Stafford End, and I just
Star
couldn't
City,
fathom.
wasn't it?
Someone said something about they rise, and I was like, "What?" I thought it was like some sort of UFO thing, but I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, we got to the bottom of it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Half time though, Finn. The changes are made. I think they needed to be Adama and Bueno on. What were you? Matinho came off, didn't they?
Yeah,
and
Matinho
Newbury because he was on a card. What did you make of their impact, Finn?
It was massive. I think the second half was not only with the referee. I mean, he refed the second. I know we're talking about rule changes throughout a season. He literally changed the rules at half time, didn't he? Then kept very card shy, and it allowed us to maybe be a little bit more aggressive, or else we'd have all been sent off in the first half. And a little bit more direct. I thought Bueno was solid. I didn't think Aït-Nouri was particularly bad, but he didn't stand out like he normally does. And Matinho was pretty ineffective as well. I think Matinho going forward is probably that last half an hour, 20 minutes, just snapping at people's heels like he did so well in the Liverpool game. But good changes. I think at half time they were going through the more like rigorous warm-ups, and I think that looked promising. So Adama, obviously you can say he had the effect for the goal, but just in general, having players that, I don't know, they're more direct, aren't they? I know it's a weird way to put it, but Bueno was getting down the line. I think he put a good cross in just before the goal. And Adama worried them straight away. I don't know whether that fullback was on a yellow as well, which affected things, but great changes for me. And then I think the third one as well, that's Costa's best game in a Wolves shirt so far. I think his best cameo, despite not doing much, made a real difference with the way we were trying to play.
Yeah, well, I was saying to Dave in the stadium, like we need someone here who's going to stick to, whether that was Jimenez or Costa, and I think that bringing Costa on probably speaks volumes around where Lopetegui thinks Jimenez is in the pecking order. But he did have a good game. It was more of a focal point. It allowed us to get up the pitch a little bit more, which we really struggled to do in the first half, especially with 10 men. But Dave, let's talk about the first goal. It was probably not going to be contender for goal of the season. But sometimes that's the luck you need. I can't believe that between Costa and Adama, they couldn't put the ball in the net, though. But some good play from Bueno down the left-hand side.
Yeah, some lovely step overs and great ball into the area. But I think Costa had one or two chances like that throughout the game where he just almost couldn't get out of his feet, could he? And I suppose that's just a player that hasn't played and isn't really maybe acting on instinct as much right now. But we've done enough, and I don't know what Bednarek's doing. But obviously, again, that was another one. I think a little bit like the Neves goal last week. It was almost in slow motion as he was like tapping it around his feet. I don't know. Have you seen on TikTok? Is it Abdi Skills? He just does. He was a bit like that. Have you seen him? Just does like ball rolls really quick and just taps it in between his feet. It was a bit like that. Yeah. So, but that's the look we needed. I think after the bad luck of the red card in the first half, I think that was the bit of the look we needed really. But we deserve that. And obviously, Matt said he was going to get the away shirt with the first Wolves goal scorer's name on, so needs a Bednarek wall shirt now.
That was written in the stars, wasn't it? Because that's what
he said. That
everyone is obviously because obviously you got the offer come through on email because we're wearing a blue shirt, £20 away shirts, and I said in the car, look, whoever scores the first goal for Wolves today, I'll get the shirt with the name on the back. I don't care if it's an own goal. I just knew I should have put money on an own goal being scored. I know you can't do that, but it was just I'm yet to order it. £20 offer no longer exists, so I'm going to wait until it comes on offer again, and I will do it. I will do it because I'm a man.
I'm sure we'll let you off if you get a Joao Gomes one anyway.
I mean, that was more my thinking.
Yeah.
That was more my thinking. But let's talk about the man himself, the man of the moment on his debut. Finn introduced for Matheus Nunes, who I thought had a really poor game. Don't know about you, but I like my central midfielders who can pass a ball. Like, I know he's such a good player, but like he plays like similar to Pedence, like the simple things he doesn't do very well. But like going past four players, it's like it's a walk in the park. It's so frustrating to watch. But Joao Gomes came on, and just for me, grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck and put us on the front foot. He was everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that Nunes one in the first half summed up his game when, he stood for like 4 or 5 seconds, just didn't do anything, and then passed it like to someone in the midfield, and then Southampton broke. It was like, yeah, get him off. So Gomes would have made an improvement just by a few accurate passes. I think you're right with Adama, Podence, Nunes. We've got a lot of players that can do the spectacular really well, and then it's just that 5-yard pass and they mess it up. But yeah, Gomes came on. I think the added sort of Costa and Gomes, Adama, you had that Bueno, like all the changes, they had that sort of just atom. I don't know how you describe it, but just making them panic, almost like Onuachu was doing in the first half. We were panicking, and then we flipped that second half, and as you say, we got the rewards. But yeah, he made a difference even without the goal. But to add that goal, and I didn't appreciate the sort of, it's almost an R1 on FIFA, isn't it? That sort of finessed volley. I didn't appreciate that the accuracy of the finish, because I don't think he was known for goal scoring. From what I could tell from Flamengo fans, it was he sort of left it to the guys up front, and he just sort of did the water carrying almost and swept up. But if he's got a finish like that, maybe he can get into the box for us a bit more. Yeah, unbelievable.
He just seemed to be everywhere though, Dave. Like, just picking up all loose balls. And I said on the post match that we did that Lopetegui made a load of changes, and I don't think he deserves the full credit. Obviously, the changes completely changed the game, but it was the players on the pitch that, they showed so much fight and desire. All the things that we've questioned over the last probably 18 months now, really, that they've been missing. That 45 minutes, for me, really summed up, and the Joao Gomes performance really summed up how they've been playing the last 4 or 5 games under Lopetegui.
Yeah, I think there was a few things that all went almost hand in hand in that game. I think the changes that he made at half time, because I suppose, he was playing with 2 central midfielders. He could have so easily stuck with the 3 central midfielders, but he wanted to get more players forward. I think the changes he made, the players he brought on, I think it helped the fact that Southampton obviously sat a little bit deeper and obviously tried to almost hold on to that 1-goal lead. But the changes he made were perfect for the game. And I think the Diego Costa one, which you've already mentioned as well, he did well. I think he knew after the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half, Jared Gillett wasn't going to be so quick to get his cards out, so he could bash people about a little bit more and leave the boot in maybe once or twice a little bit more before he get warned. But Joao Gomes as well, came on, and I think it was a very, very good debut. Just on the ball, looked a really comfortable player. Some of the passes that he played that one pass for the Diego Costa chance where he squared it to Sarabia. I know the flag went up in the end, but it was a really nice ball through. But looks like a really good player. Still, obviously, still a really young player, and I'm not sure if he'll be ready to start on Saturday.
Might have to.
Yeah, but he looks a really complete footballer, and I'm really excited to see how he progresses at the club.
It reminded me a little bit, and I know the comparisons are easy to make, but a little bit like Guimaraes at Newcastle. When he came on, like that similar sort of kind of playing style. I know obviously Guimaraes is an unbelievable player, so if he's anywhere near as good as him, then fantastic. But it was just, I don't know, in that second goal when it went in, mate. And Finn as well, who was there. Like, I don't know, like, I always felt that we were going to win that game, even with 10 men, which was said at half time. I said that their Arsenal go here, their Arsenal go, and that's exactly what happened. So fair play to the players for keeping going, and the tenacity showed, and that's a massive 3 points in the grand scheme of things.
It showed real confidence from Joao Gomes as well, because there was twice there. I felt, and I know I mentioned it to you on Saturday, I felt before the first shot, he could have so easily squared it to Sarabia, who had a good amount of space. But for a player on his Premier League debut to have the confidence not once to try the shot, but twice, try a shot on target. There's a lot of players that come on for a debut and try everything, play everything safe just to make sure they have a half-decent debut. But to have the confidence to try and test the goalkeeper at that age as well just shows a lot. And obviously, in the end, gets the match winner to give us a massive, massive 3 points. But like you said,
crying his eyes out as well. I love that.
Yeah, the longer the second half went on, especially after the first goal, I thought we've got every chance and every right to get 3 points in this game, because we were just simply the better side in the second half.
Like, so crying his eyes out when he scored the goal as well, which obviously massive moment for him. Dreamed of playing the Premier League. So it looks like he's going to be a good player. But like the Adama introduction as well, just when he plays like that and shows a real maturity in his performance, and listen to his post match. I don't know if you've seen the little clip that Wolves put out. Like, he actually seems now like one of the bigger pros at the club. One like a bit of a leader, really. I know he's obviously coming off the bench, but you've seen what he's like with the younger kids as well. Do you think there's a possibility he could stay at Wolves? Because I don't think he goes to a bigger club than Wolves and starts every week. So is it better the devil you know for him?
Just who was that about? I couldn't. Or Dave answered that. I couldn't tell what you said. Yeah, I agree. Adama.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone. But no, yeah, you're not wrong. I think you convinced yourself like there's the pictures of Neves and Adama, like the two players that you're probably thinking, right, they're most likely to go off. And then you see that you get dragged in with that sort of the passion. And you think they want to stay. And realistically, their agents are probably working in the background now to get the move. But it does hook you in games like that again. Maybe it does. And as you say, becoming one of the more senior members now, which is crazy. And he had a great cameo, and I'd be starting him from the start probably next game to give Wolves that little bit of danger, because we were too passive in that first half. You didn't have anyone that could really attack, like not just through passes, if you know what I mean, someone that you could actually worry about on the ball. So yeah, maybe it is wishful thinking. I mean, when you're seeing rumours of like Napoli, who are going to be probably Champions League and Serie A champions coming in for him, it might be hard to turn down. But I mean, for me, if you could come meet in the middle, maybe on it seems to be the wage difference, doesn't it, with Adama, that he thinks he's way better than, like, worth way more than Wolves do. If there's a happy medium there, then I'd gladly see him sign on. But I've been caught up in this about 4 or 5 times with Adama, so I'm trying not to get my heart broken again. So, but yeah, maybe one day he'll be that player we know he can be.
The contract they offered him a couple of years ago when he was banging form was very good money. I don't think he'll be getting that again. So perhaps he needs to change his expectations. But if he goes to Napoli, we'll have Lozano. I'd say Kvaratskhelia, but I don't think we're going to get him or Osimhen. But yeah, I think you mentioned Neves and Adama there. I think at least one signs a new contract extension.
Or both.
Why not both?
I think Adama has come on leaps and bounds since Lopetegui's come in, and I think there's still a long way to go, and there's still so much he can produce as a player, but just his overall game seems a lot better. And I notice it a lot more ever since that idiot behind us at Villa just wouldn't stop shouting his name and just saying, "We fucked this game because of Adama." My head still hurts after that match, but I just think his overall game, like his tracking back, just it's not perfect, but it is a lot better than what it was. And I think Lopetegui, and I don't know if it's a coincidence, but second half he was on the side, the sideline where the managers were. I think as a coach, sometimes they'll do that. Just if there's a player that you think needs almost coaching through the game, you'll make sure they're on your side, and maybe we'll see that a little bit more. So I think if you can agree the terms with him and you're not getting ripped off as a club, you keep him on. He's a good player.
I think his decision making seems to be a bit better though.
Yeah, that as well.
I mean, you can coach, so I think that's probably just more maturity.
Do you know? I think
with
I don't know, it's not really a technical point, but Lopetegui, when you saw all the stuff initially, or every new signing behind the scenes video, he's very like fatherly, isn't it? Like in how he's very like he's like with Adama, and whether that works well with Adama, I don't want to start going down Daddy Lopetegui route, but you know what I mean? Like, it just seems to work quite well with him.
No, it's I personally would keep him. But what a win on the South Coast. Massive in the grand scheme of things. Most results going our way as well over the weekend. But none of the results went our way on the Betmate, unfortunately. We were miles off. All of us were miles off. But Mysterio 88 took home £180 for finishing first. Not sure if there's any relation to Ray.
Or Dominic.
But I'm sure that's probably where the username come from. But well done to Mysterio 88. You took home 180 quid. Hope you spent it on something nice. Right then, chaps, looking forward to the weekend. Feeling a bit more optimistic about Wolves at the minute as they take on fellow relegation strugglers Bournemouth. Dave, can they make it 3 wins on the bounce?
I think we've got every chance and every right to make it 3 wins on the bounce. Again, it's got a little bit of a feel of the Southampton game where it'd be sod's law that we don't turn up. But I think judging by our last couple of Molineux performances, the fans seem to be up for it a little bit more. I don't think the atmosphere is quite where we want it to be. The Southampton atmosphere was good, to be fair. But the home atmosphere is slowly getting better, slowly starting to score more goals. We scored 5 goals in the last 2 games, which is incredible for us, really. And Bournemouth are really struggling. I think I had them to go down at the start of the season. They actually started off the season quite well. I think we should do them, and it should 3 wins on the bounce. And if we can go into Fulham with those, 6 points from our last 2, we'll be in a much better place in the league.
Finn, chancy Wolves at the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, Bournemouth seem to get a slightly better result against Newcastle at the weekend. But speaking to the Bournemouth fan on the overlap, I think he said they've scored 1 goal.
We're on the overlap, Tim. We're on the overlap, mate.
He said, they scored 1 goal in, was it how many games? I don't know how many since Gary, basically since the manager became permanent. Obviously, they got another one at the weekend, so that makes it 2. They were under the impression they spent a lot of money, didn't they, in January, and they were under the impression that they should be doing a lot better than they are, and it seemed to be directed at the manager, all the blame. But no, I think it's easily winnable, especially at home. I mean, the away game was probably one of our worst of the season, just not offering a thing. And that was probably against the more jubilant Bournemouth. They've definitely come down from that sort of. Was he even in charge then? That sort of bounce, but
yeah, he was. It was his first game in charge. They just lost 8-0 to Liverpool, or whatever it was. Of course
it was. Yeah, of course it was. But no, hopefully this is a weaker Bournemouth side, despite the heavy investment, and I think we can definitely get 3 wins in 3.
I think I had something Bournemouth related in my predictions at the start of the year. Just having a look now.
Them to go down, surely. I think everyone had them in their
Bournemouth to get less than 25 points was my prediction. They're currently on 18, so be on 21.
Killmonger from Black Panther to bet them out. It was weird. Good prediction.
Say again.
I had Killmonger from Black Panther to buy them. Just came true. It's crazy. How much does he own, Michael Jordan? Of thingy, as in
Not
Michael
sure.
B. Jordan.
I don't know how much he owns now.
It's about 10%, isn't it? It's mad. But they're going to go down regardless.
But like the appointment of Gary O'Neill's, it was a strange one as well. You look at it now, like in the grand scheme of things, and it coming towards like middle of the season, where it's getting to the nitty gritty. Like you need someone in charge who's a real kind of figurehead. Like we've got it. I think Everton have got it. Obviously, Leeds without a manager, Southampton without a manager, but could get Jesse Marsch in. It could be massive at the end of the season. I still think Bournemouth, Southampton, and I think Palace could go. I think Palace could go.
I'm not sure. It's so tight still. That last one is going to be a big shock, I think, because it could still be Leeds as well if they don't get this appointment right. They've cocked that up a little bit, I think. So,
well, they were going to appoint that fella from Ajax, weren't they? But the fans have obviously
backlash. Yeah. He was there yesterday at the ground, and then they were saying it wasn't even close. I was like, really? Yeah.
Fair play from listening though to the fans, but obviously that pretty much what Wolves did, and Saxon were without finding a predecessor lined up, which I know it's not as easy as that all the time. But Bournemouth haven't won in 5, Dave. With no Lamina though, who do you play? Do you go with a 4-4-2, the 4-3-3? It's difficult. People were moaning about Sarabia at the weekend. I saw a couple of tweets, but one thing, he seems to be such like an intelligent footballer. I mean, the positions he picks up. But I looked at, for Wolves, most progressive passes received, and he was topped by quite a lot. And again, he's an option. He's an outlet without being a big 6'4" brick shit house. I think just for his positioning, similar to Pedence, really.
Yeah, I think the thing with him is that although he's playing out wide, he isn't going to be an explosive winger where you get in the ball and he takes you up the pitch 30, 40 yards. But what he'll do is produce you 2 or 3 pieces of magic a game. And it's obviously up to the players around him to, make something of it. You see the Liverpool game, he played the ball to Hwang, who's part of both goals as well at the weekend. So I think he isn't going to be that player that you're going to get 20 step overs from and a Rabona from every game or whatever. But you just got to look out for, he does the stuff that a lot of the good stuff he does goes unnoticed, basically. So it'll be interesting when a lot more players are fit, like Neto, Adama, Pedence, and so on, whether he goes almost into more of a number 10 role. But yeah, I think he starts for me again. I would start a 4-3-3. probably start Moutinho with Núñez and Neves still, if I'm completely honest. And then obviously, I'd possibly even push Cunha out to the left if Prudence is still out injured. Or I think Adama's maybe good performance warrants him to get a start, but there's so many options still. I think the squad depth, even with some injuries, we've got a lot of good options still on the pitch. And again, you've got the 8-0 or Bueno, situation. I even saw, I don't know if you've got it down as one of the questions about Kilman and Collins, Matt. Yeah, I'll say that for after. I've just seen the question. So yeah, there's still a lot of a selection headache, I think, for Lopetegui, even with us doing quite well.
Yeah. Let's move on to the Betmate pot then, guys. So the Betmate pot is the Saturday 3 p.m. and it's £3 in for your chance to win £300. Now, let's talk through our team. So I'm going to talk through my team first. So it doesn't actually feature any Wolves players in there, unfortunately. I just don't fancy any of them to be high scorers. I think we'll win the game, but I think there could be higher scorers elsewhere. So I've gone for a bit of a mix. So I've gone for David Raya in goal with Ben Mee and Reece James. Reece James back for Chelsea, played well at the weekend, always scores quite a lot of points. And a vice captain Enzo Fernandez and Joao Pena. I just think those two are they're just everywhere, aren't they? And Pena's notoriously a high scorer in Betmate. Fernandez did well at the weekend in terms of scoring points as well. And then up top, I've gone with Captain Haaland, which I'm sure a lot of you will do because they're playing Forest, and also Riyad Mahrez, who's probably in the form of his life. So I'm looking at the front two really for goals, but midfield two as a couple of snotters who hopefully can score some points too. Dave, do you want to talk us through your team?
Yeah, I've actually got quite a similar team to yourself, to be fair. I have got a Wolves player, though. Everyone will be pleased. I've gone with David Raya in goal. I think, he's average scores across the last few games. Just Brentford in general, it's been very, very good. I've gone with Estupinan. I won't say it again because we always struggle with the pronunciation. His average is really good. And yeah, did he score? I know he got a goal disallowed, didn't he, at the weekend? Did he score again, or but
he got an assist? Yeah.
I knew he did something, so he's doing quite well. I've gone with Thiago Silva. I think they will keep a clean sheet against Southampton. I think Reece James also a good shout, Matt, because I thought he played really well at the weekend. I've gone with Neves in the midfield. I've gone with Enzo as vice as well. He started off quite well. And I've gone with a double City front line of Haaland as captain and Riyad Mahrez alongside him.
Wonderful stuff. Finn, do you want to share your team with us, mate?
Yeah, if you put your two's defence together, you get mine. So I've got David Raya, Pervis Estupinan, and Reece James. And then for some reason, I must have forgot Haaland played football. And because I went De Bruyne in midfield. And then I think fresh off that Everton hype, I went Detour against Leeds. But I was thinking it'd be a lot of action in the middle of the park, interceptions, tackles, but that was more of a Jesse Marsh thing. I don't know whether that'll change. I think I'm overthinking this because I did this last week and thought, oh, yeah, we need to go heavy on Spurs, and we saw what happened there. So maybe I am. And then just to get a Wolves player in, I've put Cunha in because I think the Bournemouth game might be more suited to him, but that might be swapped to Haaland, listening to you two. And then I've captained Joao Felix because I was very impressed with his performance against West Ham. Obviously, they're playing Southampton, and I've captained Reece James because of that as well. But could it be the new manager or no manager bounce? I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to risk it because I really like the look of him.
He's so nice to watch, and he's Joao Felix. He was saying it at the weekend, just watching him.
He's only got extra points for that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you get extra points for that, but he's just such a nice player to watch. But just a recap of that, it's £3 in for your chance to win £300. It's a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. The beauty of Betmate is, of course, that you can change your game up until 5 minutes before kickoff. Change your team, sorry. So if the lineups come out and are hardly any players are featuring like you would with normal fantasy, you can change your team. And of course, with all that, please gamble aware. Right then, question times. Thanks to all those who sent the questions in on Twitter this week. There's quite a lot of questions to get through and some absolute corkers. We'll start with the first one from Dean Marsden. All three of these players' contracts up June 2024. Snog, marry, avoid style, but buy, sell, renew. Sell, renew, let go on a free. Neves, Prudence, Raul.
I'd snog Neves. No.
I'd marry Neves.
I would sell Prudence, renew Neves, let Raul go on a free.
Finn? I know what yours going to be. Renew Raul.
It's like avoiding two, isn't it? There's not much. You're only really snogging one of them. No, you're marrying one and avoiding two, aren't you? But I think, value wise, and obviously there's only one of those. I know Podence is injured, but only one of those two in the first 11 at the moment. So you've got to renew Neves, and I think you're probably going to get more value out of Podence than a current Jimenez. I never thought I'd be saying these words, but I think I agree with Dave. But if I could do snog marry, I think I'd marry Raul for the videos. Like you could do the sort of honeymoon. You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
Then all of that you could get content
You're
out
thinking
of
about
that.
this a bit too much, Finn, to be fair.
Yeah, let's move on.
And I think snogging Podence would be snogging my belly button. I'll snog Neves. Actually, that could work. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, just tell him which your belly button. Moving on to add to the face question. If Bueno continues to slot comfortably into the first 11, what do you think his value will be in the summer, Dave?
Between now and the end of the season, if he has a consistent run, plays quite well, I think it's still very, very early days for him, but I think value-wise, like 20 mil maybe.
Yeah, that's what I thought. What about you, Finn?
Yeah, I'd agree. Probably something similar to that. I think it's funny. I saw I got tagged in a tweet the other day. When we tweeted the rumor of Atletico Madrid being interested, I completely forgot until someone tagged. I need to reply actually. That he said that when he first came into the first team and played his first game, and I said, "Oh, he ended up at Atletico Madrid on my FM save with Grasshoppers." So it's crazy how it works like that. But yeah, I hope we don't sell him. It looks like a real good talent.
Next question from Andy Hipkins, friend of the pod. Long time friend of the pod. He's not been on in years, has he, Dave?
He was in one of the first ever episodes.
Yeah, he's
back at Tom Rouse's
once
house.
a talking wolf, always a talking wolf.
Yeah, an early adopter of the podcast. Hope you're well, mate. Should Nathan Collins be given an opportunity versus Bournemouth after two poor errors from Kilman versus Liverpool and Southampton? I think those errors have gone a little bit unnoticed, especially the one at Southampton. I mean, we haven't even mentioned it. Jose Sarr bailed him out. Do you think it's time for Collins to have a go? Personally, I'm a little bit torn because I don't to winning team, do you change it? It gives you a better balance, but I think Collins is better than Kilman anyway.
Yeah, I think they have both gone unnoticed because we won the game. Liverpool one's a little bit different because I think we were so comfortable in the match already. I'll say that I think it was 2-0 at that point, and Sarr obviously made a good save. The Southampton one was crucial because if they went 2-0 up, that's it. We weren't getting back in that game. So again, he was quite lucky that Sarr dealt with it. I don't know. It's hard. I think, part of me is in the camp where we're winning games. You don't really want to keep chopping and changing too much. I think the centre-back is quite a pivotal area of the team as well. But I can also see the argument. I know Andy had a couple of comments and replies to that tweet with people saying, what are you on about? But there were two quite huge errors. You just got to make sure it doesn't happen where it costs you points.
Seems to switch off a little bit, doesn't it?
At the minute, I'd probably just lean to keeping him in the team, but I can certainly understand why people would argue Collins getting a nod.
What do you reckon, Finn?
Yeah, largely in agreement. I think the left-footed thing initially really helped Kilman and will probably see him through again. I think you're right with sort of don't change your winning team and that left-footed factor, just keep him in. But I can see the point as well. Collins was playing well the few games before he was dropped, I think, wasn't he, from memory? It seems like a long time ago now. But there's, I think, one more mistake or dodgy performance, and he's definitely got a case because you can do two right-footers. A lot of teams do it. So, yeah, we'll see.
Aaron Zahota has asked, why is it for what feels like the first time in years, does it feel like even with a man down, we're always going to win that game? Dave, is it the Lopetegui effect?
I love how we're still calling him Aaron as well.
It's his name, isn't it?
No, definitely. That there were games I felt, there were a number of games where I always felt, I think it was Leicester, the 4-3 under Nuno. I just felt we were always going to win that game. There have been certain games, but I think that one on Saturday, like I said earlier, I think it went hand in hand with the way Lopetegui changed the team, but the fact that Southampton were a little bit more cautious as well. The longer that second half went on and the more we were just putting pressure on them, I thought we're definitely getting something out of this match. So huge win.
What do you reckon, Finn? What's the reason why well, you may have felt that we weren't going to win it, but if you did, what do you think the biggest factor was?
I don't. It's that stadium. There's something about it. And I think 3 of the last 4 have been really good comebacks at Southampton. I don't know which one I'd put higher, the 2-0 down to 3-2, or that one. Maybe just that one for the 10 men. But I don't know. I think the possession stat was it almost 57, 58% in that second half. Maybe we're just a very technically good team, and it didn't make and they are shit, so they didn't make too much of it. They didn't really attack those 10 men as much, but couldn't really put my finger on it. But it's something about that stadium now. I think every time we go there, even if we go 1 down, 2 down, we've shown in the last few years. I think the one in lockdown was 1-0 to 2-1 as well, wasn't it? So something about St Mary's, I guess it's witchcraft more than tactics, I reckon. I don't know.
I'd be a bit gutted if they go down, to be honest. Usually an easy 6 points. Cartwright has asked, with the away making an appearance this weekend, which of our 3 kits is your favourite? Mine is actually the blue away one. I don't know about yours, Dave.
I don't dislike any of them this year. I think the white and grey one's underrated as well. We've only worn that the once at Palace. But I like all 3. I've only got the home one this year. It's my birthday on Saturday, so if anyone in the family is listening and needs ideas, there you go. Should have got it when it was 20 quid. So,
Dave, are you a fan of Castor?
Look at him now.
He's head to toe. Every time
what was it, Matt? On
Castor garment.
On Saturday, I had the Castor hat, the Castor hoodie, the Castor thermal, the Castor coat on. So I was all in it.
He's like Ty from Arsenal Fan TV. He's got Castor headphones on.
Castor headphones now. Have you ever seen that clip of they're doing like a live stream and someone says, we've got a comment here, Ty, really like your headphones. He's like, thank you very much. And he goes, and he says, jokes, take them off. That's fuming.
Finn, what's your favourite, mate?
I don't know. I'm not, obviously the home kit's very plain. The third kit I wasn't that fussed on initially because it's literally like someone just put a black and white filter on the goalkeeper kit, and it's literally the same design, but in silver, one of the goalkeeper kits. So I probably would lean towards the away one as well. Obviously now I've got very positive memories from the one time it's been worn. And I think as I've mentioned in the podcast before, they tried to say, oh, it's a tribute to Molineux, and it isn't, but it's still nice. So I probably would just lean to that one.
Yeah, all those like hooks they try and pull in on a bollocks, aren't they? Absolute nonsense. Lloyd Brooks has asked, although I'd not begrudge him a dream move, has the club tabled a new contract offer to Neves? And also, what is the latest with Adama's contract extension? Dave, we still think Neves is going to sign a new deal, don't we?
Yeah, I think he will, personally. I think it'll depend. They'll wait until I think we're mathematically safe as a Premier League club, and then I think they'll announce it. Adama, again, I think it'll be a similar sort of situation, like Finn said earlier. Napoli are the team that are pretty heavily linked with him at the minute. But I think the Lopetegui effect, But again, it might be Lopetegui's decision if Adama's dragging his feet, and we've seen the impact some of the players that Lopetegui's already brought in. He might want to just let Adama go. We've probably got our money's worth out of him, and bring in another player in the summer.
Do you think there could be a possibility that maybe with Neves he signs like a shorter term deal with a respectable release?
It'll probably be almost a little bit like the Grealish deal. I think that would become quite an often thing that, where Grealish obviously signed a new deal at Villa with a release clause. It'll probably be the same with Neves as well, I think. As long as it's a fair value, I think, it's fine for all parties.
Yeah, I think so as well, mate. Wolves Josh has asked, has Adama's recent performances earned him a place in the starting lineup? I think we discussed that a little bit, but Dave, you reckon starting from the off on Saturday?
I don't know. I can understand possibly why you wouldn't. I think he's a really good impact player, and if he's happy to come off the bench and be an impact player, I think great. But I think with Neto probably not quite fit. Pedence, I'm unsure whether he will be fit, and obviously the Lamina suspension. I think he'd have a good time against Bournemouth as well. I think just all of a sudden will invite them to sit deeper, and I think that could work in our favour.
Liam Willis has asked, was Diego Costa's performance at St Mary's his best for Wolves? He was a handful, integral for getting stuck in, potential for man of the match for me. Finn, I think you said it was his best performance, didn't you?
Yeah, he's read my mind. I'd say it was. I mean, when he came on against West Ham as well, it looked really promising. I think he had that one header that he missed. And I suppose if you're just looking at the chance that him and Adama managed to miss between themselves and then had the helping hand, you'd maybe argue that it wasn't. But I think maybe not that Cunha played poorly, but I think because we were playing to his strengths and you saw how wrongly that can go. And then when you put a man in there that will just cause trouble and just make it awkward for defenders, I think it really highlighted the strengths that he still does have, because then in games where we're trying to send him in behind, it really wasn't working. So I'd say it probably was, it's only a small cameo, but changed the game. Potential man of the match, maybe a bit far. But then again, there aren't many standout candidates. So maybe, but yeah, definitely is one of my favourite Costa performance so far, at least.
And finally, Sean Mitchell has asked, a real important question, and that is favourite lager. Dave, yours?
Everyone berates my choices of alcohol. I mean, I'm not a big drinker, as a lot of people know. I always seem to have a Stella Unfiltered. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. It's a bit not strong. Makes me sound a bit, but it's a bit bitter for me. I don't know. I like the lighter ones. Madry's always an easy drink. That's quite nice. Everyone takes a mick. Even stuff like Coors, I can just drink dead easy because it's just.
I used to like Coors.
Yeah, it's like even a Foster's, I don't mind. Which again, I got a lot of hate for last time. Budweiser's, Tapping, anything like that, really.
What about you, Finn? You're not a massive drinker, are you?
No, I'm the same with, like, on holiday, like when I was in Mexico, the Coronas and the Bud Lights, they're like, I can easily do that, but not the heavy ones. I like a Moretti glass. I think that's probably just tips it just for me. I like the Moretti glass.
Moretti's nice.
So, yeah, maybe just that. But on holiday, I'm like the flipping 2% beers. That'll do me.
I don't really like Italian beers like Moretti. Don't like Peroni either.
They're all right. I think they taste a little bit like this Unfiltered. I think they've got a bit of a sharp edge to them almost. I don't know.
Yeah. I've really stopped drinking lager. It's got sick of it. I'm drinking more cider now. One cider that I do love is, I don't know if anyone's tried it. It's called Inches cider. It's unbelievable. It's like apple juice. It's like when you get Summersbury abroad. It's outrageous. Dave had a little sip of one Saturday, didn't you?
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea, if I'm honest.
No, it's so good. Finn, I reckon you'd like it.
Yeah, I don't mind a cider. There's one my sister and her boyfriend are on. I forgot what it's called. You'll probably know. What do you say that one's called? Hinches or
inches, as in like
inches.
Yeah, like 12
To be fair, Matt, the reason I probably didn't enjoy it as much, you had a 2-pint glass, so I had to almost hold it like that. I like Dennis Waterman on Little Britain. You seen that? The little bloke. He's
right, yeah, it's Inches cider. Yeah, it's really good. Really nice, really nice.
I can't remember. Was it Aspel, maybe?
Yeah, Aspel's just quite strong now. It's like loopy juice, that is. But I don't know about anyone else, but you just get sick of a particular drink, like a foot of a lager now. It makes you feel a bit.
I don't think we're going out drinking on Saturday. I don't think I'm going to be on the lagers. It just bloats me too much as well, to be honest. So,
yeah, I don't need any help with that.
Shorts, bash.
Yeah. Shorts, mate.
Yeah, we are going out on Saturday, aren't we, Dave, for your birthday?
Yeah, everyone's welcome. Yeah, me, and if I like you, I'll let you know where we're drinking.
Finn,
where are we going?
We'll let you know later, mate.
No comment.
Finn, are you coming?
I don't know whether any of them are listening, but I've got family, all my mum's side of the family coming down from Blackpool, so I can try and get out of it. I'll see.
Those ones that you said you didn't like.
Try my best.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Those ones you said you didn't like, you're trying to get out.
Yeah, they're the ones. So I'll try my best. But
okay,
that'd be good. I'm a Disaronno.
Do you reckon Jordan will make it out, or?
Yeah.
Don't know. We'll see. He might come out for 1 or 2. Get the last train out.
We shall see. Lads, it's bloody hell. Sounding like Paul Cook then. Or Jordan Russell on the fans' reaction. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. Dave, where can people find you should they wish to follow you?
Yeah, that Dave has a party everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Yeah, check it out.
Finn, where can people find you? Videos are back as well, aren't they? 2 on the bounce.
Again, it cuts out at the end. I'm so sorry if you've just abused me or praised me in any way, but it's Finners.
Where can people find you on social media should they wish to follow you?
Finners everywhere. FINERRZ, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Thank you very much.
I'm M Cooper Writes on Twitter, Matt Cooper Bites on Twitter and YouTube. We are Talking Wolves across all socials. Don't forget the Betmate game on Saturday, 3 p.m. pot, £3 in for your chance to win £300. Until next time, enjoy yourself. If you've liked the video, drop us a like, comment down below your favourite lager, and hopefully next time we're talking about 3 wins out of 3 for the Mighty Wanderers. Until next time, take care.